What's going on, y'all? Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is doing fantastic out there. So let's go ahead and jump all over this video. And it seems as though that India is about to enter the chat. China has already took the bull by its head and exposed America and all of the luxury brands that's capitalizing off of people when they go over to China and actually purchase those bags or whatever the case may be for extremely cheap, $5, $10. You know what I'm saying? Now, India is about to expose America, or they're on the brink of exposing America due to the fact that there was a 26% tariff that was actually posed on India, and India makes about half of the prescription, the generic prescription drugs for America. So will India actually follow suit and call America out just like China did? It seems as though that they're starting to. So like I said, China has taken the bull by the horns and exposed all of these luxury brands and things of that nature. Now it's up to India to take that bull and drive it straight into the mud ground. You know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to check out these clips and I'll be back.
Hi, my name's Lex. I'm a nurse, and if you take prescription medications, you're going to want to watch this video. As of this morning, Trump has imposed a 26% tariff on India. India makes 50% of all of the generic medications prescribed in the United States. That means your antibiotics, your diabetes medications, your blood pressure medications, your statins, your antidepressants, all of those, if they are the generic version that is manufactured in India, will increase in price by 26%. As a healthcare worker, this news terrifies me because medication compliance is a huge issue in the United States. The amount of people that we see that come to us in a medical crisis or emergency simply because they cannot afford their prescription medications is insane. I will never forget the day I took care of a father of 4, all under the age of 10, all of his children under the age of 10, who had to choose between feeding his kids and filling his antihypertensives, his blood pressure medications. Because of this choice, he obviously chose feeding his kids. An aneurysm that had been growing in his head burst because his blood pressure grew too high. And he died. And he died. These types of tariffs, these types of attacks on our medicine will kill people. And once again, we pay the tariffs. India does not pay the tariffs. You and I do. So now our medications, if they are the generic form, and one of the 1 and 2 medications that are the generic form manufactured in India, will increase in price by 26%. And people are going to die because of it. And people are going to die because of it. And people are going to die because of it.
Okay, so right now everybody's laughing at the people who buy designer because they're...
The original video that I'm stitching this to is pretty funny, but it's really surprising to me though that a lot of people don't talk about this, because anybody who has family in India or comes to visit knows that you buy all your prescription drugs here. There's a lot of stuff that you don't even need a prescription to pick up, like antibiotics or muscle relaxers, non-opioid painkillers. I mean, you just don't need them. The GLP-1s are the big thing, right? Even like my name brand Manjaro that I'm on my way to get my injection today is $42 per shot here. I think even directly in the US, it's like $1,000 a month, whereas I'm paying $168 for a month's supply. The city that I live in, Hyderabad, actually manufactures like 90% of the world's generic medicine right here in the city. And they're sold all over the world. And the government sets the price. That's why pharmaceuticals are so cheap here.
I'm in India right now. Come with me to go to a local pharmacy to see how much common medications cost in India compared to the US.
One of the best things about India is that you could go to any local pharmacy without a doctor's prescription and get almost any medication you want for a fraction of the cost. If you're diabetic and want to get some insulin injection, you could get $5 to $10 per vial compared to $300 to $500 in the US. And people usually go to 2 to 5 vials a month. Metformin is a very common anti-diabetic drug, very effective. It's a tenth of the cost in India. Amoxiclav is one of the most commonly prescribed antibiotics for common infections. For a 10-day course, it's $3.50 in India compared to $86 in the US. Steroids are very commonly used medications. Prednisone, 5 milligrams daily for 10 days would cost you 50 cents compared to $30 in the States. Now, tenofovir is a very commonly used HIV medication. It's one of the most effective. In India, it's $20 to $40 for a month supply compared to $2,000 to $3,000 in the US. Symbicort is for COPDers and asthmatics, $3 to $10 an inhaler compared to almost $300 in the US.
We're seeing this amazing upheaval with China showing how much luxury goods actually cost. And people are finally seeing, the car companies like BYD and how cheap their cars are, how much better the technology is, how you can even get personalized cars. But this is only the beginning. Once China shows that you can just get an Apple product without the Apple logo at cost, or a stereo system, water purifiers, and the biggest one is going to be pharmaceuticals. So whether that's insulin production in India, any medication that you can think of that when you buy it from, your insurance in America, and a drug that you need to take costs $3,000 a month, but you could actually buy it direct from India for $5. Like, the revolution is being televised. The revolution is an information revolution right now. I think a lot of people were talking about Mario's brother and being like, when is that next part? Like, this is almost a spiritual sequential moment. We are seeing in real time the dissolution of the middleman and the dissolution of the idea of what quality means, what luxury means. It really is so shocking to me that China's this whole time just been like, let's just keep working and keep securing the bag. Like, let people think that these products are coming from Italy. Let them think that it's coming from France. We're still getting paid. So once pharmaceuticals start going the way of how China is speaking about these products and the markup, I think that we're going to see a major shift.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that and the price differential as it pertains to some of the cost of the most sought after medicine that people need in America and abroad, right? Now, we're all privy to the fact that our healthcare system is extremely flawed, and I believe that we're one of the few nations that don't provide free healthcare. Now, let me share with you the real reason why we don't have free healthcare in America, right? Check out this clip and I'll be back.
Nearly 100% of the reason why the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't define healthcare as a right and doesn't have any sort of national healthcare system to speak of is because of racism. It really began in the 1880s, 1890s when medicine became a thing. And there was this guy named Frederick Ludwig Hoffman who came over here from Germany. And he was a young man. He was 17, in fact, when he came over, and was a numbers genius. And he was the guy who figured out that there was a statistical association between working in a cotton mill and having lung problems, asbestos and mesothelioma, smoking and lung cancer, and diet and cancer. In fact, his book on the association between a high processed food diet and cancer is still in print. And he's been dead since 1946, but his book is still around. So he's really smart in these things. And so he married this Southern belle from Georgia who was from a racist plantation family. And so he ran the numbers on black people and found that black people were dying, dropping like flies, more likely to be sick, more likely to die of pretty much everything. And concluded, which was the general consensus at the time among a lot of white people in the South, this is again in the 1890s, that black people were genetically inferior. And in 1896, he published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America.
Now, it hadn't been too long ago where Luigi had put a slug in the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, and then on yesterday, there was another individual that was on the premises of United Healthcare in Minnesota by the name of N. Stanley Wagner, and he was arrested because he was making threats. So there's a shift in America right now. People have been tired, but now the American people are sick and tired, and they're starting to do something about it as it pertains to being bamboozled by these health insurance companies, having to pay high dollar amounts for certain medications and things like that. Is just out of control. But anyway, like I said, India is about to start talking. Now, there's not a bevy of videos like the Chinese made when exposing these luxury brands and things like that. But like I said, they're entering the chat, and it's going to be interesting to see to what magnitude that they expose America. and the fact that they double and triple all the prices of the prescriptions that they actually get from India. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that was discussed in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Yep.